Hello and welcome. Before we begin, we'd like to take a brief moment to share an important disclaimer. The views, opinions, and statements expressed on the Rascals Lounge podcast are solely those of the host and guests and do not reflect the views of any organization, employer, or sponsor. This podcast is provided as is and is intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. Discussions on this podcast may include topics such as politics, vaccines, the pharmaceutical industry, professional sports, esports professionals and organizations, content creators, music, medicine, law, science, psychology, herbal medicine, supplements, cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, religious leaders, faith-based beliefs, and other related subjects. All commentary is based on publicly available information, personal experience, or personal opinion. Any references to public figures, political parties, politicians, athletes, organizations, religious groups, or individuals, living or deceased, are opinion-based and are not intended as factual claims or statements that could harm reputations. No content on this podcast is meant to defame, discredit, or negatively impact the reputation of any person, group, political party, religious faith, or entity. The host and guests expressly disclaim all liability for defamation, libel, slander, or any misinterpretation of the views expressed. This podcast does not provide professional advice of any kind. Comments or discussions involving doctors, scientists, psychologists, attorneys, athletes, religious leaders, politicians, or other professionals, including those related to health, training, injuries, performance, the pharmaceutical industry, herbal remedies, supplements, cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, vaccines, or alternative treatments, are intended for general informational purposes only. Listeners should never start, stop, or alter any medication, treatment plan, religious practice, legal action, financial decision, or substance use based solely on content heard on this podcast. Always consult with a licensed professional or qualified advisor in the relevant field before making any decisions related to health, law, religion, finance, or lifestyle. The host and guests make no representations or warranties regarding the accuracy, completeness, or suitability of the information presented, and disclaim all responsibility for errors, omissions, or outcomes resulting from the use of this content. The podcast and its content are provided as is, without any express or implied warranties of any kind. By listening to, reading, or otherwise accessing this podcast, you acknowledge and agree that the Rascals Lounge podcast, including its host and guests, shall not be held liable for any interpretations, actions, or consequences resulting from the content of this program. We strongly encourage all listeners to think critically, do their own research, and form independent judgments before acting on any topic discussed. Listener discretion is advised. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Rascals Lounge podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rascals Lounge podcast. Well, today we got a special guest. Guys, let me tell you, she is special. She's a woman of God, woman of faith, and Lord has used her big time, especially nowadays. Her name is Lindsey Graham, but everybody knows her by Patriot Barbie. Interesting. She has a testimony, and guys, I want to introduce you. Lindsey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I'm cracking up that you said this is Lindsey Graham, but you didn't follow up with like, not that Lindsey Graham. That's how everybody introduces me. Not that Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, well, I think when I say Patriot Barbie, they're gonna like, okay, it's not gonna be him.
That's not gonna be him. You know what though? You would be surprised. I will post graphics of like speaking at an event, and it says Lindsey Graham, which is my name. This is on my platform. It'll have my picture. And it'll say the Patriot Barbie, and people will still comment on my feed. Why are you speaking with that rhino? And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys don't get it.
Wow.
So funny.
So, Lindsey, how you got the name Patriot Barbie? How was that about?
Great story, actually. I was getting canceled in Oregon in 2020, and the left was giving me all kinds of names, the COVID killer, murderer, things like that, for opening against the lockdowns. And after I did a call to arms to protect my salon from Antifa, they made a meme out of my face wearing a MAGA hat. And it said, I don't always play Patriot Barbie, but when I do, I kill people's grandmas and I steal people's money. And I was like, all right, I get what you're trying to do. I see that you're attempting to insult me, but Patriot Barbie is a little bit of a compliment. So
Yeah.
I took, I had been canceled for just weeks and weeks, like nonstop emails, nonstop death threats and phone calls and Google reviews. And I just had it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to change all my social media to the Patriot Barbie just to piss this person off, right? Because they're trying to
Mhm.
insult me. Changed
Wow.
my Instagram handle. I bought the web domain. And then the next time I was on the news, I think it was Dan Ball, He's like, she's going by the Patriot Barbie. And I was like, oh gosh, okay, here we go. That was it. That became my alter ego, as my husband would call it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
You won't believe this. I think when I sent you the DM requesting to see if you want to come on, and you replied back, and I was like, "Oh man, she did it." She said yes, but I did not know certain things about you. So I was like,
you're
"Okay,
regretting inviting me on, aren't you?
oh no, I'm super happy." But I did not know you were the cat lady.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
I was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
I'm bringing the cat lady."
I should
And
have worn my cat ears for you.
oh,
Oh.
I was like, I remember seeing that episode on YouTube. It
Yeah.
went viral.
It goes viral like every 6 months. That speech was back in November, right around this time, November
Mhm.
of 2022. And it goes viral like every 6 months. It's like I can almost clock it. A big account will reshare it. Like, this mom goes viral. I'm like, that was like 3 years ago, guys.
Wow.
Yeah. But so it was funny too, because I was in 2020, I was most well known as the salon owner in Oregon that opened up against lockdowns, right?
Mhm.
And that's how everyone kind of knew me. And then I did the cat speech, and it kind of, I mean, that went viral. And then 2 months after the cat speech, the same transgender guy that I was speaking out against at the school board dressed as a cat, I caught him in the women's locker room at my gym, very small town, right? And I
Mhm.
called 911, and the police came and all this crazy stuff. And that video went viral. Well, one day on Instagram, I found some girl tag me, and she made a whole reel, and she's like, all right, I was like championing this girl in 2020 for standing up against the government and being this awesome salon owner. And then later on, 2 years later, I saw this other chick with a cat costume just annihilate like a transgender board member. And then 3 months later, I follow this other chick's video of this girl calling 911 on this guy in the locker room. And then I find out it's all the same girl.
Yes. Yes. That's what I
Drama loves to
noticed.
follow me. Drama follows me. Well,
Wow.
when you're in the fight, right? When you
Yeah.
don't back down from the fight, think about how many women have probably encountered
Ugh.
a man in their locker room and maybe just kind of quietly snuck out, or like, should I say something? And it never goes anywhere. But like, I'm not afraid to call out evil where I see it. So that's how I get
Well,
in trouble.
just recently, there's this black lady that is going viral right now for
Mm-hmm.
on Gold's Gym and just going off because a
Good.
guy, and she says, "I'm a lesbian, but let me tell you, I don't agree with this."
Yeah.
That's a
She-
man right there, and
Yeah,
she's like
yeah.
super upset about this.
And listen to this, Jeff. If we're gonna go into politics, right?
Mhm.
They are all about inclusivity and equity and diversity, but you are now talking about a lesbian black woman
Mhm.
who's now got her gym membership revoked for a white straight male. I don't know if he's straight or not. Like, that is the
Yeah.
opposite of what the left stands for. You just annihilated the minority. You're supposed to be pro POC, people of color, pro women, and pro LGBTQ, right? Okay, you just
Mhm.
took someone who is all three of those things and you let her get canceled in the name of inclusivity for what they say would be like a white male. They think white males are so horrible, right? You just gave him a priority over all of the things you allegedly stand to fight for. Isn't that wild? In real
That's
time.
I thought of that. I really did. I was like, okay, something is not right here because I'm sure they whoever canceled her doesn't want to be labeled racist,
Right. Right.
and so because now everything people say or people do is racist, or
Yep.
you're
Homophobic, but bigoted,
homophobic, or yeah.
fascist, all the things.
Oh gosh. And I saw that and I was like, "Oh man, I feel for the women that feel uncomfortable in those situations and they can't stand up to it. They
Mhm.
can't
They're too
speak
scared.
out
Yep.
because they're going to get canceled or they're going to get fired or something's going to happen to them."
Yeah.
And where's this pro woman? Where's the pro, cuz
Mhm.
you see it's so weird because you see these these people, political figures, they're like, oh, we fight for women's right. Women should get equal pay to men and all this stuff. But if a woman feels uncomfortable in the locker room because there's a male there, then oh no, you
Yep.
can't.
Nope. Yep. It's so
It
weird. It's
is
so backwards. That's why it's
sad.
like, of all the things that I stand for and try to speak out about, I try to remain non-hypocritical. If I stand on something, I have to stand on that premise, on that belief system, foundationally across the board, right? That's
Hmm.
how I became more pro-life throughout my journey in the last 5 years, is looking at scripture, but then also being held accountable by people who could have rational conversations. And I can give you an example if you want, but they can never actually stand on what they believe in because they can flip-flop it whenever it doesn't fit their narrative. And this is the perfect example of how it doesn't fit their narrative. The left will not stand with this um, gay black woman. They will stand with the man, which completely is hypocritical against all their beliefs. But we have to remain, at least I think that in our traditional biblical beliefs, we tend to be pretty consistent with the belief system across the board, and that's the difference. Like, we can disagree, but if you're going to stand on something, it needs to be very black and white, not when it fits your narrative.
Correct. Correct. I would have asked that guy, excuse me, you have a prostate? Yeah. Oh, well, then you don't belong in that bathroom.
Yeah.
You
What are
don't
your
belong in a
chromosomes?
women's because a real true female doesn't have a prostate.
That's right. And
So go
I,
to the
I,
men's room.
yeah, and I love the point that she made in one of her videos. The point she made was, and this is the point that I've been making for years. Okay, it's male and female,
Mhm.
scientifically, biologically, and biblically. Okay, at what point? And this is awesome that she made the point coming from the LGBTQ side.
Mhm.
She makes the point. At what point do we say it's okay? At what point if he chops off his male body parts, are we now going to say that that's okay? That still doesn't make you a woman. But
Mhm.
now we've addressed that if you compromise the truth, if you draw a line in the sand where you will push the truth to a different narrative, at what point do we decide who has the authority to blur that line? Because I would say the left kind of says, well, if he identifies, which means he's got lipstick on and he's wearing a dress and he's taking hormones. Okay. Well, now let's say he stops taking hormones. Does he still get to? No? Okay. Well, now he's cut off his male body parts. Now does he get to? And I say no. And someone else would say yes. If he's cut off his wiener, let him in. And I'm like, well, no. So who gets to decide who's right here? Who gets to decide at what point we agree that a man who still will never be a woman is permitted to use the women's locker room? But what she said was, at what point is it okay? Does he cut off? She said, like, does he cut off his wiener? And I think
Mm.
that's a great point, because even if he did, the answer is still no. You still, just because you've decided to mutilate your body does not make you a woman and does not mean that the truth gets suddenly blurred. And that's why we have to stand on truth, truth, truth above all else.
So true. That is a good point. My concern is the young generation. A lot of them are getting confused. Kids in school. I had to talk with my kids, tell them what's going on in this world. I don't allow social media for them, so they don't know, but they get this information in school. So they know a lot
Yeah.
of stuff that's going on because of other kids in school. They bring their cell phones and all this stuff. And we gotta keep them up to date because it's very, very dangerous. So a lot of these kids are just getting brainwashed, or they feel like they're gonna get bullied at school if they don't agree with this system,
Hmm.
being part of this. And now they like, okay, if you're bi, you're cool. If you're straight, you're not cool. And
It's a
like, wait,
trend. It's totally a
what?
trend. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? No.
And you
So,
know what it all comes down to? It all comes down to Satan and his demons trying to confuse these kids out of their true identity. because when they are searching for being cool and not cool, it's no longer like it was for us. It was about the clothes we wore or the music we listened to or the sports that we did or didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's about what's your sexuality, which I think is very weird because kids shouldn't even be thinking about sexuality at the ages that
Exactly.
they are. But it's the demonic forces and it's the spiritual war that we're in, telling kids if your entire coolness, aka your entire identity, because that's what coolness is when you're a child, that's your identity. If your entire identity is rooted in your sexuality, then there's no room for God to take that place of your identity because you're not listening, you're not focused on that. You're not looking for who you are. You're just trying to maintain a sexuality that is or is not acceptable and cool. I think it's going to, I mean, I know it's going to turn on its head because God wins, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amen.
so the mission is, I mean, these kids are victims. I will never cower to a male, an adult male who should know better, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these children are victims of a society that's trying to tell them your identity is in who you have sex with, which is just crazy to me, crazy. So we've got to break them out of that, and we've got to separate them from the media, the music, the news, and the societal indoctrination that tells them who you have sexual relationships with is who you are at the core. That's why the pride flag is such a big deal to them. Like, we're not flying evangelical flags. I'm not flying a straight married flag. I'm not flying a mom flag outside my house, right? That
Mm-hmm.
actually is my identity, that I'm a mother and a daughter of the king. But their entire identity is not their religion, not their marital status, not their familial status, not even their status in society, not even money. It's crazy. Not even possessions. Their identity is who I have sex with. And I just think that that's the most blanket statement over what the pride movement is. And when you think about who is waging war on our society about identity, it would only be Satan. It would only be Satan because God wants our identity to be in him. And Satan says, if I can distract you with a different way to identify yourself, then you are completely separated from God in that.
Yeah. That is it's so true. And you know what's really crazy? I know certain people that are in the LBG community and they're just like really quiet and they're like, listen, Jeff, I don't agree with all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree, and I believe that if you're 18 and older, do whatever you want, but young kids, leave them alone.
Yeah.
But we can't speak out because then we're gonna get targeted. I was like, oh lordy.
Oh, let them. It's so Gays Against Groomers is like the perfect example of like powerful. Do you follow them at all?
Uh,
Gays Against Groomers.
no.
I mean, it's of course as Christians we're to not embrace sin.
Yeah.
But when I think about, being thankful that there are at least rational people in that movement that are calling out. So what
Correct. Yeah.
their Gays Against Groomers calls out, so it's a collaboration of gay people that stand up and say transgenderism is not a thing. It is not okay, and it is not okay to push sexuality on children. It's not okay to have these things in books. In fact, they're saying the transgender movement is essentially soiling they call themselves normal gays, right? Men that just
Hmm.
like other men and women that like other women. And that's it. We don't want to cross dress. We don't want rights above anyone else. We're just minding our own business. Our sexuality is not our identity. They are calling out the radical transgenderism movement fiercely. And I think
Mm.
that they have more, it's crazy. Like they have more authority to do it because no one is calling them bigots or far
Yeah.
right wing extremists or
Or
radical
homophobics.
religious figures. They're like they would me or you,
Hmm.
but when you're in the movement, or what they would say is that they're not, they can call it out with more authority. And I'm grateful to that. I'm grateful to that organization for that. They would be our allies in that, at least.
Yes. I know one person that I saw online that stands up for stuff like this is I think it's Lady MAGA.
Yes.
And
Ryan.
he
Yep.
Yeah, and he stands up and he'll talk about it. And I remember seeing him in the interview. This people say, "No, free, gays for Gaza and Pakistan, whatever, but Gaza, I think it was."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Do you know what they will do to me if I go over there?"
Yeah.
Like, no, that
They
would
they
kill me.
don't even know what
And
they're
so,
advocating for. It's
so, oh,
crazy.
really? Yes,
Yeah.
they will either put me in jail for life.
Yep.
And I
And that would be
didn't know
kind. I think
that.
that'd be the kind.
Yeah,
That would be their gracious punishment.
being gracious. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. I mean, I'm telling you, I believe that we're living in the last days,
Mhm.
and we're right in the midst of it. I pray every day, ask for forgiveness. Dear Lord, I just want to be ready when those trumpets sound. I want to
Mm.
go
Yeah.
because I feel it so deep. Like this is gonna come soon.
Hmm.
It's gonna come soon. Um, Even with all the stuff that happened with COVID, all the stuff that's happening right now, even in New York,
Hmm.
knowing that Zohan won, I'm like, something is not right.
Yeah.
Something is boiling. And I was talking to a coworker last night, and I said, "Listen, I know he's more of a Democrat person, but I told him, listen, no matter who you gonna vote for or whoever you want to win, etc." I said, whatever is in the Bible is going to happen.
Hmm.
I don't care. We could have the best president in the United States. Everything could be super,
Hmm.
but what's written is going to happen.
Hmm. And it's just a
There's
matter of,
nothing you could do about it.
yep, what
Haven't
role are
you
you going to
noticed
play?
all this people against Israel? Since when we ever had this?
Hmm.
But then something clicked on my mind and in my spirit. Something said, but there's only going to be one person in this earth that's going to try to bring peace. Who is it going to be? The
The
Antichrist.
Antichrist. Who is it?
S-
Jeff, you got any guesses?
Whoa.
Oh, you got
No,
any
I
guesses
don't
that you're
know.
willing to say on there?
I
Write
don't
it
know.
down on a piece of paper and show it to me on the screen so that you don't have to say it.
No,
I have some ideas. I wouldn't say mine either.
yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
Probably after the show, I'll tell you.
Okay, text me. Don't put it in writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't put it in writing anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, but you just don't know.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you
and that's the
know,
point, right? You don't know. You just have, we literally are not going to know. We're going to assume, and we're going
we're going to
to
assume.
use our Holy Spirit discernment
Mhm.
to guess, make an educated guess, I suppose. But he's not going to walk out and go, "Attention, everyone," or he or she. I am the
Yeah.
Antichrist.
Yeah.
We're going to have that discernment. That's why you got to stay grounded. You got to stay grounded.
Grounded and upgrade your screen time, whether you're gaming, working, or just browsing, with Gamer Advantage blue light blocking eyewear. They are expertly crafted for gamers or for anyone that's in front of a screen for long hours. Featuring Resme lens technology, these glasses are engineered to minimize digital eye strain and shield your eyes from the detrimental effects of blue light. Doctor recommended, potentially boost focus, and significantly enhance sleep quality, ensuring you stay at the top of your game. Visit GamerAdvantage.com for more information and use promo code RASCALS at checkout to get 10% off your purchase. I do earn a commission when you use the promo code, which helps sustain and grow the podcast. Once again, visit GamerAdvantage.com for more information and use promo code RASCALS at checkout to get 10% off your purchase. In the Holy Spirit and
That's
the
right.
Word of God. So when is it that you now going a little bit off topic here, but I want to talk a little bit about you. When is it that you converted your life to Christ? Were you born and raised in church
Yeah.
or when was that moment like you
was,
just like I'm gonna give my
yeah. I was raised a Christian, raised in church, Bible study, Bible school, Sunday school, church choir, church drum, all the stuff. Wednesday nights, Sunday mornings, Sunday afternoons, church lunches, and Sunday evenings. It was crazy. I was saved at a pretty early age, naturally. And then at 14, I actually distinctly remember the moment where I felt this was my decision and I understand it. Right. So when you're a child and you give your life to the Lord, I still think that that's salvation. It's in your childlike innocence that your parents
Mm-hmm.
guide you to salvation. But at 14, I was like stuck at my aunt's house visiting. She went to work and I put on like one of those mega church broadcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what it was. And whatever the message was, I don't remember. I got on my knees and I accepted Jesus as my savior in my full like mental capacity as a teenager. I
Mm-hmm.
remember feeling different after that. Like I just made this decision on my own. That was, I think, my truest like capable salvation moment. Then in my 20s, I really fell off the wagon. I mean, I turned my back on God and I did some pretty radical things for about 4 years. Then the Lord saved me from a lot of that stuff. It's really dramatic stuff. Saved me, brought me out of a drug addiction and a lifestyle. And I believe in that time I was kind of like, thanks, Lord, and still saved. Appreciate it. Like I'm back. But I didn't rededicate my life. I didn't go on and like become ministerial in my testimony. Like I didn't use what he did. I just kind of was like grateful and moved on with my life. So then that was I mean, my 20s. It was 20 years ago. So don't do the math, y'all.
No.
So then in 2020, when I went through my government rebellion and stood up against lockdowns and became viral and was cancel cultured, I lost everything to cancel culture. So our careers, our retirement, all of our businesses, our home. And in that moment, I recognized the faith that I proclaim to have, which is that God is real and that he loves me and that he has good things for me and that he has a plan. I was seeing all of that washed away, like complete rock bottom, complete devastation. And it was like a Job moment, honestly. And I had to decide, do I truly believe that the same God that pulled me out of a drug addiction is also the same God that would allow this horribleness to happen to me? And if so, if I do believe that, then I have to believe that he's doing it for a reason and that he has something, he's going to turn it to his good and to my good. So in that moment, I chose like when nothing was going right in my life and when everything was wrong and there was no light at the end of the tunnel, I chose true faith. I chose to tell the Lord, literally, quote, out loud, I said, I trust you. I don't know what you're doing here, but I trust you. And it sucks. It sucks. I'm going to admit that it sucks. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this leads to, but I trust you. And I think that was the moment God said, I have control of your life now. Now I have control of your life. I've was with you when you were a kid. I was with you when you were 14. I was with you and I pulled you out of the addiction and the other things. And you weren't very grateful. You weren't very gracious and you certainly didn't give me the glory. That's okay. But now that you've lost everything and in your moment of complete destitution, you agree that I am in control and that I have good things, that is your true faith. And that was 5 years ago. So that I believe was the moment. I wasn't saved, but I started following Jesus and I gave my life and the control of my life to Jesus. And that is the second largest, other than being saved itself. That's the second largest moment in my life, is actually letting God take control of my life.
You know what was really strange? Last night, I was watching some of your content, your videos, and I started to pray. I said, God, just give me wisdom when I talk to her and give me the words. And the Lord gave me this. I don't know how can I just explain it to you, but he told me like you went through what Hope went through. And I was like, wow, that's deep. Sometimes God has to put us through the fire so we could get to see him. And there's a verse I want to give to you. Do you have the Bible with you?
I do, actually. Look at this.
Okay.
Look
Amen.
it's been loved.
Oh,
Let me
that
tell
means you're
you.
using it. That's
Yeah.
good. If it's brand new and
Man, then I pulled it off the shelf. That's for
yeah.
show. See, that pink Bible back there is for show. You can't see it.
Oh, okay. Go to Job 42:5.
Job is one of those ones. I'm not sure. There it is. I'm not sure if I know exactly where it is. 42:5. I got it. Ah, yes.
Read
Ooh.
it.
My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you.
Yeah. And that's after
Oh, that's good. What? I got to get my
that's for
highlighter
you.
out right now. Where's my pen? Oh, we're marking that sucker. Guess what?
Yeah.
That's my next social media post. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because God basically, confronted Job and said, "Hey, you think you know everything? Stand up.
Yep. Let me show
Okay,
you.
who's the ones that make the stars sing? Who's the one that controls the water from not overflowing on the earth? Who does this and this and this and that?" And then Job was like, "Okay, this
Wow.
is way too much for me."
Yeah.
And then he says, "I heard you by hearing of the ear, but now my eyes see thee." And that shows like, man, I think I know God. I have a relationship with him, and no, you just don't.
So good.
Now, and Job was a man that done a lot of things. In my opinion, he made a lot of mistakes because he used to do the sacrifices for his kids. And that's a big no-no, because now how can his kids learn to do their sacrifices of their sins and all this stuff? See, back in the Old Testament, that's what they used to do. So he was like, "Oh, no, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You're my kids. I love you." So he put them like in a very high priority, and just like he had to go through all that situation to learn to know who God is. I could say, "Oh, I know who Lindsey Graham is," but I don't know your favorite color. I don't know your favorite food. Somebody say, "Hey, Jeff, what's her favorite meat?" I don't, but you say you know her. I do know her, but damn, you got me there. What's her favorite movie?
Oh, but you know what you
Oh,
know?
gee.
You know of me. That's the
I
difference.
know of
Job
and
knew of God, and I
of
knew
God.
of God. But to know him is to tangibly have a relationship. Yeah,
Correct.
that's amazing.
That's
Good
so I
scripture.
received that word, and then what? And I said, "Okay, God, I'm going to give it to her." I mean, I'm not a prophet. Don't take me as a prophet, but I know there's time when God gives me something, I'm going to go ahead and give it, because I have my relationship, and I went through my experiences with the Lord. And there's a testimony I'm going to give to you. I gave it on the podcast before with another guest that I had. I was actually in my room. It was at a moment of time. I just like, I'm just going to start praying. So I put praise and worship and started praying to the Lord, and just, lifting up my hands and just pray and walking. I pace and pray. And the kids just got home from school and they were in their rooms. And I was just starting to pray, and I just opened up my arms. I said, "Dear Lord, hug me." And I closed my arms. I said, "Jesus, do you hug me?" And I go, "Well, I'm sorry. I know you do. I know you do." And then I kept on walking and pacing. And then I said, "Dear Lord, do you love me?" And I go, "Oh, forgive me, Jesus. I know you do love me." And then I just kept on, praying and reading the word and praying. And then after that, I finished the prayer and went on by my business. 4 months passes by. And then after that time, I decided to take the kids to church. So it was it was a December, and we go to church. And then when we go, everybody was leaving. And I'm like, "What happened? We're late." And they go, "Oh, Jeff, there was a special guest from Puerto Rico," where I'm from. And she came over. She's a special evangelist, so she was preaching. So she got done, but we started the service an hour early. And I'm like, "Oh gosh!" And I was at the steps of the church. So I told the kids, "Let's just go back home because we're late. It's already done and over with." So as we were walking back to the van, one of the members said, "Hey, Jeff, I haven't seen you in a while. Come on in. Come on in. At least get prayer." I said, "It's okay. It's okay." So I'm still walking by. Another member comes up to me and say, Jeff, what are you doing? I haven't seen you. So I missed it. And they go, don't worry, just go in for prayer. At least go for prayer. And I said, and I looked at the kids, here we go. And they're like, well, we're here already. I'm like, okay, let's just go. So we go up, and we were sitting down, and I see that she's praying for people and praying for people. And then I said, and everybody was wearing a mask because it was that time when COVID was kind of like going downhill, and it was, but we still had to wear a mask. And I'm like, okay. So I go up front to get prayer. And then she was praying. And then when she came to me, she put her hands on my head. Then the Lord speaks to her, and he says, and you ask me if I hug you? I was like, and I felt all the hairs stand up.
Oh,
And he goes, I hug you. I always hug
oh
you.
my God.
And you ask me if I love you?
Wow.
Love you. Let me tell you, Lindsay, I started to cry
Oh, I'm sure.
and cry. I felt 10 feet tall with $1 million in the bank account. Let me tell you. But I was so humbled. And I said, wow, you were there.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, I was there when you were praying. Give this testimony.
Wow.
Yeah, deep.
That's powerful.
Deep. So moments that you feel like you're having a simple prayer, that you're just, by yourself and just probably drinking your coffee and just praying to the Lord and just talking, reading his word. He is literally right next to you, watching you.
Yeah.
So all that situation that you've been through, he was there.
Mm-hmm.
You had to go through that situation so you could grow.
Yeah.
Because
And-
God, needs spiritual warriors.
Yeah. And to live, it's when I tell the story, it's just like I hear myself saying that he brought me out of a drug addiction, and he, healed me from an abortion and all of these things. And then I went about my life and I didn't use that for his glory, like at all. I mean, I was in the salon industry. I was serving 15 to 20 women a day, and I wasn't ministering to them, right? Like, how shameful of me for him to have rescued me from the things he did and then never speak about it. I should have been shouting and yelling it from the rooftops.
Mhm.
And I think that this scripture resonates. Like, I knew that God was real. I'd already experienced it, but I needed to lose everything like Job did to
Mhm.
recognize my real faith, and then to also recognize how disappointing it was to God to have done what he did for me and then have me not telling anybody, to just kind of tuck it away and pretend it never happened, right? So
Mhm.
I felt him nudge me in 2020 and in the year following to use my voice. And I felt him kind of telling me, you have this testimony and you may think it's 20 years old, but I rescued you from these things, and you had women in your chair that I blessed you with over and over, and you didn't say a word to them. But if I give you a platform again, which he did, I got 500,000 followers on Instagram, are you going to use it for my glory this time? And I was like, yes. And that's why I use my social media to talk about the most shameful things I've ever done in my life and my sin. I preach my sin from the rooftops, tell people what God has done, because he's like, you've already seen me. You'd heard of me in your childhood, but now you've seen me, but you're also not telling others that you've seen me. And that's your real ministry. So,
Amazing, right?
yeah.
See how much he loves you?
Mm-hmm.
He loves you a lot.
And now I've got the fruit. Now I've got the fruitfulness of it. I've got the faith has shown, right? Because
Mhm.
in 2020, I just said I was destitute and had lost everything, and I put my faith in him. But now it's been 5 years that I've been following him, and I did not
Mhm.
go back to doing hair. I did not go back to, we didn't reopen a gym. We didn't, nothing. I prayed in 21, and he told me to write my book. And as I wrote my book, I recognized that he was telling me, you are on a different path now. And I'm not telling you where it ends. You don't get to know where it ends. It's the journey. And I'm in the journey, but it's been 5 years, and I can tell you the journey has been fruitful. The journey has been beyond what I would have expected it to be. And it has nothing to do with measuring possessions or wealth or money. It is about
Mhm.
finding my calling as a mother, being home with my kids, homeschooling. I do a homeschool co-op with them. I have more time
Mhm.
with them. I'm more focused on them. And I'm focused on spreading the gospel on my social media. That is more fulfilling than being in a salon 12 hours a day, giving girls hair extensions, right? Making a lot of money doing it. Like,
Yeah.
it really is. And that to me, if that was the journey, and if that's it, if that's all that came out of this, if there is nothing else bigger or better or grander at the end of it, this is okay with me. I'm okay with this. He brought me to where I need to be.
Wow. You know, I went through something somewhat of the same. I wasn't part of marketing and sales, and I used to make a lot of money. I was averaging like 5, 6,000 a week. And I lived in Puerto Rico, and I fly over here, did this event, and did my sales, and then fly back home every week. And I remember I started to change, and one person came up to me. He said, "Jeff, when you first started, I saw a light in you, and now you're not even close to that light. You used to
Mm.
talk to me about Jesus and God, and now you're not humble anymore."
Oh,
And he says, "Just do me a favor, never don't talk to me about God anymore." That hit me
wow.
so hard. I was like, that was one of the biggest hits that crushed me.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of like changed me. I needed to hear those words and reevaluate myself to see what's going on. And then I went back to Puerto Rico, and it's a long testimony, but I don't want to go so much in that. But that company, it was a time when GM went bankrupt
Mm-hmm.
because we had to deal with a lot of dealerships, and then they went bankrupt. The owner of the company I used to work for, the CEO, he says, "Guys, I'm well off. I'm closing, you know, closing the studio. I'm closing everything down, closing the chip." And I lost my job. I couldn't find any more jobs doing that. And then uh I had to settle to be a janitor again, to start being a janitor. From making this amount of money to
Mm.
making regular, hourly minimal government, wage. And and I was just like now mopping floors, cleaning bathrooms, and this was for Walmart. And I was like, because I had to find something, I had to get a job. And then that kind of broke me down. And one person, I have these prayer warriors that I stick with. They're seniors, they're older people, and they told me sometimes God has to break you and take everything that you have
Mm.
so you could get to see Him clearly.
Yeah.
Says money, even though you didn't think or wanted, but money kind of corrupted you.
Yeah. Wow.
And now look at you. Now you're back to starting
To
zero.
mopping floors, baby, for
Mopping
minimum
floors,
wage.
cleaning bathrooms. Oh gosh. And I thank the Lord. Now I'm no longer into that. Now I'm in the medical field. But now I just thank God so much because he had to break me.
Mhm.
And when the process of being in the potter's hand, back then what they do with the clay, they throw the clay on the floor and you get stepped on. So clay, they gotta
Mm.
step on it to take out the air. So God kinda showed me like, okay, now I gotta be on the potter's feet
Yeah. Wow.
first so he could pick me
Wow.
up and then start molding me.
Ooh, that's deep. That's so good. So good. Have you seen
Yeah.
the movie Unsung Hero?
No.
Oh, everyone listening, you got to watch the movie Unsung Hero. It's about the family, the Smallfoot family from Australia, And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to tell you who the family is about because I don't want to ruin the movie for you. But it's a faith-based movie. It is extremely empowering. And it's about a family that loses. They go from riches to nothing to like a house with no furniture, no food, $5, praying to God every day, going from like living in a mansion to like, Lord, we just need some food to eat. And then their prayer wall, they'd start a prayer wall with sticky notes of like, this is what we need to survive. And it's called prayer and blessing. And then when they'd get something that they prayed for, they'd move it over to the blessing section. And the entire movie is a tearjerker. It is humbling. It is powerful, and it is just a complete and utter testimony of how amazing God is, but also what he did in this family's heart while they suffered through like devastation. It is the most incredible movie.
Wow.
Yeah. You'll cry,
That's
Jeff. You'll cry.
really.
I know you're a
Oh,
man, but you're going to cry.
yeah, I cry. I don't
You're
care.
going to cry. It's good. Very good.
I mean, there's some cartoons I even cry in some. I'll just start, it just hits me. I'm like, oh gosh, kids, I don't know how can you watch this.
I can't believe
Wow.
that Tom ate
Yeah.
Jerry.
Yeah, oh goodness. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm gonna watch it. I just I wrote it down.
Okay.
Now, does your husband also um gone through the same experience as yours, or his experience was a little bit different?
I would say it's different, when it came to the cancel culture and being all over the news, it was my face, not his. It was
Mm,
me getting the emails and the phone calls and the death threats and the slander and the being in the media every day, good and bad. So, I mean, his experience was he was a different character in the story. He was the supportive husband that said, if you believe in what you're doing, then I support you um, to the ends of the earth, like whatever the threats are, whatever the consequences are, if you believe in what you're doing. And that was cool. I mean, it was really cool to see that God had created me for the purpose, not him and me. Like it
mm,
was my conviction. It was my fight. I was David with the tiny pebble going against Goliath, the government. That was the story that God wrote to bring me into being able to withstand the spiritual war. I mean, the people that I fight regularly they're evil. I mean, I would say a lot of them are possessed. A lot of them have a demonic force. They are vindictive and hateful and slanderous. And it takes a very thick-skinned person to take that every single day. But I feel like in 2020, God is like, you put on the armor because I'm preparing you for battle. It's a battle that you're going to fight every day, and you are the girl for it. So, I certainly could not have done it if he hadn't been supportive and if he hadn't said, I've got your back and I support you. If he would have said, this is ridiculous, we're getting all these fines, you better shut back down, we would be in a very different story right now. So, he did have his own experience. I mean, his experience is, I'm the husband of the crazy chick that dressed up as a cat and, fought the government. And
yeah,
who is he? And who is he in Jesus? Who is he in God? Who is he in that story? Someone very different. That's his. It's
yeah.
cool because that's his relationship with God to curate in his side of the story.
And he goes to church with you as well. He's
Mhm.
very
Yep.
good faith. But okay,
Yeah.
good.
We're raising a biblical household. Let me tell you, no Netflix, um, homeschool co-op, Christian based, devotionals every night. Only listen to worship music. I mean, we're trying to keep the enemy at bay. We're keeping the enemy out of
That's
our house. Yeah.
that's what I do at home as well.
Yep.
My wife, she's a nurse as well. I mean, I'm not a nurse. I'm an EKG specialist, but she's a nurse and she's a manager at one of the floors. And when she comes out, she puts on Terry McCallman. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Mm-mm.
Very, I'll send you. So
You
it's
watch Unsung Hero, and I'll listen to Terry McCorman.
yeah, you'll like it. It's one of those deep worship type of praise and worship. It's kind of different. It's not like the regular that you normally hear is very deep. It's to get you connected.
Mhm.
And when she gets off work, that's what she listens to. So when she comes home, I got piano. I put piano music, on in the house in the living room. It's praise and worship, but piano.
Uh-huh.
Um, it just it lightens up the mood. It really does. So we try not to put so much, anything secular on. Um, Coming from where I'm from in Latin culture, we put a lot of salsa, merengue, especially in Christmas time. It's all this, but we tend to put now more praise and worship than
Mhm.
anything.
Yep.
And it's the best thing
It
ever.
is. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. It's the best thing ever. It just lines up everything, and you feeling the presence of the Lord is the best thing
Yep.
at all times, and it's good for the kids as well. I also try to put on more Christian based movies and stuff like that, even for them. They find it like, well, this looks low budget. I said, yeah, but there's some that is not, and some is
It's the
good.
message.
It's the message. Just
Yeah.
just check it out.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to draw those lines, and that's a fight you're gonna have to fight. Why can't we
Hmm.
watch this? All the kids are watching this, and I mean, my kids don't say that because all of the kids that go to the Christian school are we're pretty blessed. We're kind of surrounded by parents that feel the same way about things. So they don't feel like they're missing out on a lot, but there are times when you have to, why can't we go watch that movie in the theater? Well, I've been looking at reviews, and there's a lot of
Yeah,
innuendos, and so the answer is no, kids. But know that you're doing the best for them and keeping those demonic spirits out of your house. That's worth the fight
yeah,
every time.
yeah. A lot of people don't know the spiritual warfare, and I'd seen with my own eyes demonic deliverance out of people
Hmm.
when I was young. It was, oof.
Yeah.
Trust me, I don't ever want to see that again. But 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 yeah, it is really real. I've been studying a lot of what's NDE cases, near death experiences,
Yeah.
people that gone to heaven, and there's people that gone to hell.
Hmm.
And let me tell you, hell is no joke.
Mm,
And the most thing that impacts them is not the fact that they see these demons and everything, is the separation from God.
right.
It's like God takes you, puts you so far away, and forgets about you.
Oh, scary. We don't ever want to be
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it's a really bad place. But but you know what, Lindsay, I know time is of essence, and you got so much on your plate, but I want to thank you so much for coming on. I am truly honored. Thank you, I'm gonna be honest, it's really hard to get anybody that is well known in the politics, or anything. I've tried to bring people on, and it's hard.
Hmm.
They're like, well, if you're not famous, I'm not coming. So I'm like, oh geez, how
Oh,
many followers, how many listeners do you have, and all
yeah.
this? And I was like, are you serious?
Yeah. You know what? But there's
It's
there's a I was like that for a hot minute, and the Lord humbled me, and he said, if one person listens to your testimony and gives their life to the Lord, that's not enough for you. And I'm like, ooh,
oof.
ooh, ouch. Okay. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how many, it's who. Like the Lord will bring, you give me the microphone, the Lord will bring someone that needs to hear my story. And that's what matters.
Amen.
Yeah.
So what's the name of your book?
I've got a couple books. Targeted, One Mom's Fight for Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness. It's on thepatriotbarbie.com. And then I wrote a children's faith-based book a couple years ago called Alphabet Prayers for Toddlers. That's on thepatriotbarbie.com. And then I'm writing a third book, a children's faith-based book right now. And those are all on my website. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Now they're physical copies. Do you have audiobooks or no?
Don't have audiobooks yet. I
Okay.
got to do that. Everyone keeps asking me. It's been 5 years. I
Yeah.
haven't done it. It's been 4
Because
years.
when I drive to
It's on my
work,
to-do list.
yes, when I drive to work, I just oh, it's the best because I could just put on the earbud when I'm at work, and a lot
Hmm.
of us do that. They put an earbud, just one, and then we could do our jobs at the same time while we're listening. Yeah. Now, tell everybody where they can find you. What's all your socials, your Instagram, all that? What's it called?
My main platform is Instagram. It's the.patriot.barbie. I'm also on Facebook as the Patriot Barbie. And then Twitter X is Real Lindsey G. Not as active on there, very rarely. But Instagram's my definitely my main platform.
But God touched you to look at the DMs that
That's
day.
right. That's right. He did.
Wow, amazing. Well, Lindsey, thank you so much. It was an honor. I'm going to keep on praying for you because I believe God's going to use you more. This is just the beginning.
Thank you.
And he's going to start revealing more stuff
All right.
to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you,
Okay.
Jeff.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
Thank you. Okay, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Till next time, God bless. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode on the Rascals Lounge podcast, and please don't forget to follow us on X and on your favorite podcast platform.